Welcome back to another video to master Spring Boot. In our previous video, we have added our user in our in-memory user detail bean, and then based on those users, we are able to access our application. So currently, this endpoint can be accessed either by dev1 or by dev2 because these two users has been registered to our endpoint, and it's for generic for all the endpoints which we have in our application. Now, in this video, we are going to learn about filtering our URL or restricting our URL, because right now if you see that developer and lead can access both the URL. I'll let it make it shorter. Okay, developer and lead can access all the URLs providing the username and password. We need what our use case is that we want that certain URL which, for example, delete or maybe post and push should not be accessed by our developer. Only role under lead can access those URL. So how can we achieve that use case? We need to use Spring security filter chain. Let us quickly implement it, and then later we will do it. So we'll need to create our bean. And then we will use Spring security filter chain interface, and then we will define security role exception, and then here what are we going to do is Spring security dot authorize HTTP, because we need to authorize our HTTP request. Authorize HTTP request, and then what we're going to do is we're going to open our lab expression. And we need to match our endpoint URL. So it's our HTTP method name. Now first we'll take get, and then we will find our pattern. So we'll keep it as role of developer. Where this one is okay, so now it is better. Type these things. Now we will have web. How many methods we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. This is screen data rest. We will ignore this one. Okay. Now we have our 1, 2, 3, 4 get. So we will create 4 get. We have 4 get, and then what our pattern is, we'll copy our endpoint. We will define what our endpoint is, on the get one basically. So we want to make it as only get can be accessed by developers. All those posts you need later need permission. Community manager permission. And once fine, it's done your settings. Now we have all those endpoints which we have defined. So when we have anything related to parameters, we cannot define that value. We need to define as a star. Once we have defined all those endpoints, now for developer role, meaning to say developer can only access these 4 endpoints, rest all developer cannot access it. As I said, we are not going to cover the string data rest endpoint. We are just going to cover our normal endpoint which we are creating now into the layer. If you have followed along, then it will be easy to understand. If you haven't watched earlier video, you can go and watch it out. It will be quite helpful. Okay, now this will be our post. We have 2 posts. We will have post. We have a more post, and then how I am copying this, we can do command D to copy all our records. So we have 2 posts. and we have one put and one delete. One put and then we have one delete. Perfect. So now what are the points from our because we have to apply one for sign up and another for login. That's why we don't have delete for login. Perfect. Okay. So now all these endpoints, all these patterns, or maybe these endpoints, developer can access it, and all these endpoints he can access it. Even though developer is also present here, so it is a split kind of thing. So these role also lead can access because lead is superset role. So we have developer because F2 is developer and lead. So F2 has two roles. So F2 can access these all the URLs. Whereas user F1 can only access all the get URL but cannot access all the non-get URL. So now let us security dot basic authentication because we need basic auth. And also dot and then security dot CSRF. CSRF stands for cross-site request forgery. So this is something related to when two applications are talking to each other, so that nothing can be forged in transit. So that's why we have CSRF. And then we are going to use here our. What are we going to use here? Because we know that the method is defined under then we will use method reference and we will disable it. Later we are going to see what this line do to us if we enable or disable it or if we uncomment it. So HTTP security is for us to enable our default authentication. Now we will return. What are we going to return is now HTTP security dot we have built perfect. So now we have created our bean for our security filter to restrict our URL and now we will rerun our application. So we will run our application. Our application was already running. So we can stop and rerun it. So let's see our application started. We will start. Our application will start. So now what is our is let's do that one. Using all the tabs that were open previously. And now what are we going to do is we are just going to on this endpoint and see what will happen. See whether any authorization is there. The authorization is there. Let me remove it and then we will see what will happen. Okay, so we'll see this and then we'll see what will happen. So first thing we are getting is unauthorized because we have no basic authorization and we have our authorization enabled. Then what are we going to do is we will enable basic auth and then we will pass our name dev1 and 1234 which is our username dev1 1234. Then we call it and we'll see what will happen. Okay, now it is working. So dev1 can access this endpoint which is d1 customer and can get the customer information. Now let us add dev2. Dev2 can access it or not. Okay, dev2 can also access it because this endpoint is part of developer and lead both can access. Whereas dev2 is part of developer role and lead role. So dev2 can access. Any other three is not there, but we go and the other, so we can access it. Okay, perfect. Back to dev1. We have done for our one get. Now we'll do one more get so that see whether it is fine or not. We'll see. Okay, dev1 can also access the URL and dev2 can also access the URL. Now, so we will consider that our get will work. Now we'll come to our post. Okay, and we'll see whether it will work or not. So there is no authorization. We see whether we will run it. So okay, we are getting unauthorized. So there is no authorization defined. Now then we'll set up our user. So let us set up dev1. Okay, and see what will happen. So whether a dev1 is a developer role, whether it can access an endpoint which is defined to access by the let us run it. Perfect. See, you cannot access it. You don't have access to the resource is prohibited. We need to say this resource with the post distribution method is not allowed for this user to use. It cannot make an entry. Let us just change it. Okay. Then this will be run it. F2, see what will happen. Perfect. See, the record for answer and I return with the ID. It is working from now. You see F3 also cannot access it. And F1 also cannot access it. Now we'll jump to delete by ID. So now the ID which just now we have created, okay? Just now we have created when we have inserted the record, so ID was 52. Now what are we going to do? We're just going to see whether the record is there. It's not there. So it will not work. So we'll add our user bar. We just have one. We'll see whether it will work. We see for unauthorized because we don't have any authorization defined. Now we have authorization but which is a wrong authorization. Now we'll send the request. We'll see for it because dev1 don't have access to this resource. Now what are we going to do is we are going to define our dev2 and we'll run it and see what will happen. Perfect. Dev2 have access to this resource and ID was deleted successfully. Okay. If you haven't seen my previous videos to define this value, you can go and watch how to return the ID from the database, this coming from database. Now dev2 can access this. So meaning to say dev2 can access this and dev2 can also access get resources. But dev1 cannot access the dev resources. It is giving the error prohibited from resource access. That's the beauty of security filtering chain, whereas it can define for us to filter the URL based on the rule which we can define. In our upcoming videos, this host will and this username will be defined in database. So yeah. Now starting I mentioned that what is this heck? What the heck is this? Why we make it simple? So now let us try it out. Okay. Now what are we going to do is right now let us disable. We will comment this line and see what will happen. We will run our application. Now we are running our application. Just to make it take effect. Our application will start it. I will come back. What are we going to do is suppose you have deleted an ID, only we can do post is better because now the insert another record. Okay. So now what we going to do is dev1 not have access, anyhow we'll run it. Okay, dev1 don't have access, no issue. But dev2 have access, right? Dev2 already had access. Yeah, see, we haven't. You can just see what we do. So now dev2 also cannot do. Okay, because dev2 is making a state change. dev2 is doing a transaction which will have an impact in our resource, meaning within our database. dev2 can also cannot make this changes once we have disabled this CRF. Okay, so now then what is going to work when we can disable or remove this CRF? So then I will see dev2 don't work. See whether it will work. Get request will work. Why get request is working? Because get requests are not changing any information or any resources. It's just fetching the same information again and again. There is no impact. There is no difference. That's why you can do this. Let us re-enable it. Let us rerun our application and we'll come back to our code. See that post we cannot do even with dev2. Okay. Now dev2 and then we will rerun it. You see the magic? Rerun. So now the ID is 100 and delete it anyhow. So that's the power of security filter chain. You can restrict the URL and so that no unauthorized user who is not a part of that rule cannot access the endpoint. Cannot access. So you have more filter and more features for it. A string for you to control your endpoint, how you want them to give or to authorize to a specific user. That's the fun.